I'll bet you anything if I
So
turn on my channel strip, I get sound.
that was your fault. You had me
That
going.
was 100%. Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe I should start over then. All right. Well, let's start over. A
The
minute
star,
late.
the show starts now. It's good.
Yeah, here we
I
go. All
saved
right.
you.
Top of the hops here. 9 in the morning. I got a new channel strip. It's a DBX something or other, 286S, I think. And I'm not quite used to the full flow yet. So for Helium, it's actually great that you're here, Joey, because this looks like big news. This builder boot camp in San Francisco is going on, and we should return to that, I'm
Hmm.
assuming. Hivemapper talked about burning 4.4 million honey in Thanksgiving week. That was an all-time high for them, so I'm sure they closed out November with their best month ever. Good to see that. In DIMO land,
And
go ahead.
deflationary. That
Deflationary.
pushed some. Yeah,
That's a big deal, the D
it's a
word.
big deal. Yeah.
Let's see. DIMO, speaking of D words, they are leaning into this AI and user controlled data thing. So they had some post on how, I forget if it's Ford or GM or Chevy or something, is doing the same kind of thing. But in general, we're seeing the industry catch up to the deepen idea of making sure you have your data. And then, of course, we're bolting AI on everything because it's so darn useful. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and that's pretty rad to see. Wingbits sent me a funny email, and I'm sure they sent you an email as well if you're on Wingbits. It was something like, hey, we're delaying our TGE. We've set aside $400,000 of the cash we've raised to buy out your tokens if you want out now. But it was a little bit confusing because I'd earned, I forget what it was. I think I've got like 200,000 Wingbits or something, but that equates to 50,000 tokens. And so for me, having run Wingbits since November of 2023, my cash buyout for half of my tokens was like $50. So kind of a
Hmm.
weird offer. Like I think they would have been better off just saying, hey, we delayed TGE like every other deepin on the planet ever. This is totally normal. Really sorry about it. But they also threw in this thing like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll give you $50 for half your tokens. Just like,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
bullshit.
that's odd. They kind of just put a price on the token
Yeah.
before TG. That's a. Hmm.
Yeah. I think
I mean, it
they
is a terrible time to be launching a token. So,
yeah.
props to them for making that decision. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. First part good. Second
Hmm.
part, maybe have a marketing guy in there, but I'm biased,
Right.
obviously. Spexi,
Hmm.
let's see. So I like Spexi because they ship. They ship Statesboro, South Georgia. Again, like every week, they have something new. Plenty of other things I'm sure that they don't do right. I'm sure they do a generally great job, but just I like that every week they're like, hey, we're doing this new thing and we're just progressing down the timeline. The only thing that I didn't like was that it's South Georgia, the state, not the island, which is where one of my heroes, Ernest Shackleton, is buried. So I also don't see a reason to drone photograph South Georgia Island because it's down in the Antarctic area and no one's going to give a shit, probably, except for science and me about what's
Or
going on
you.
in South
Yeah.
Georgia Island. I've got this dream to build a business up to get enough money to fly me and a couple buddies down and recreate Shackleton's trip from one side of the island to the other, which was the last step of his epic journey. But neither here nor there. Weather XM, I've actually been looking at getting, I keep saying this, getting a station and getting it on top of El Cajon Mountain just to replace the one that we had up there. They had this Builders XM announcement, but when I went to the website, it was a broken link,
Oops.
builders.weatherxm.com. So I think that shit happens. God knows I've made enough mistakes. Um,
It's
yeah.
up
And
now.
is it? Oh, cool. Super cool. So it's just down for
Yeah.
a second or two or a minute or two.
Yeah.
Um, and then MeteoSci, let's see, we launched a new podcast this morning. I've been playing around with AI recaps over on LinkedIn, they do this thing, the Delora Alliance does this thing where they do an hour-long webinar. And usually it's people just reading off of a script. It's, Laura's a bunch of super smart engineers that don't really give a shit about communicating what they're doing, is my shirty understanding of it. Or they don't give a shit about you knowing about what they're doing. I should correct that. And so I'm building this little system that says like, hey, this stuff is actually really cool what you're doing. This particular webinar was on energy harvesting. and some super cool stats out of it with, I think, 200 lux, which is dimmer than a hotel corridor. You can have a LoRaWAN device that fires every 90 minutes with no battery, just a super cap. So it's like, that's rad. It'll live forever. I would like that message
Hmm.
to go out to more than the people who will watch the 60-minute full thing. So
People know we like the super caps.
yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm a super cap sucker for super caps.
Yeah.
Uh, So I'm working on these ways to make it better and just appointing myself head of marketing for the the LoRa Alliance. Although I'm sure the actual head of marketing
Good.
doesn't appreciate that.
I think they probably would. If
Yeah.
you told Altair that you're going down that path, I think he'd welcome it too.
Like I'm just gonna run marketing for you guys. No big deal. Sledland. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm waiting on parts to come in for the sled. So I had a motor controller come in that was bad. This is my second motor controller that came in that was bad. This one, the potentiometer was wired backwards. So when you're at full speed, it was at 0. And when you went to 0, it went to full speed, which is just switching some wires. But I also paid money for the thing. It's like, I don't want it to show up new and be broken out of the box. And then one of the little knobs had broken off. So sent that
Hmm.
back, waiting for another motor controller. Just the usual. This just seems like a market rife with opportunity, and I'm going to rip the fuck into it. That's my big
Nice.
plan. So PCB should be
Um,
designed by the end of this week, but yeah, we'll see how it goes for the motor sensor. I don't think, were you here last week when we talked about motor sensor? I thought you were.
I think
2 weeks
so.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
I've had some new
yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
AI, blah blah blah, etc. But I'm going to sell this motor sense
Mm,
kit, and I've got a new website, but it's
sweet.
not up yet, so it will remain the little Japanese secret button on the display, which I thought was funny. That's what's going on. Dude, tell me what's going on with this Helium Builders business.
Yeah, it was kind of a blast. I'm still processing. I guess
Okay.
there
Was
was
it
a
a
lot of
1 day thing?
conversation and
I just saw a picture a
one
minute
day
took
thing. Yeah.
of back of people's heads. So what happened?
So I mean, I was over in that office all day long, and I was just kind of working with the team. So it was a full day for me. But we kicked things off right around 6 o'clock last night. Um, Went late, but it was a whole mix. Basically, trying to get folks together, get them thinking about like, what does it look like to install a hotspot? There were folks out who had never installed a hotspot. There were folks who've installed thousands of hotspots. Some folks flew out for this thing just to kind of
Dang, that's
catch up
rad.
with the team. Yeah, it was really impressive. I was kind of shocked. Um, so it was cool to hear. We've talked about this a little bit with like the welcome packs and some of these like efforts that we've had around trying to get people to think about like what does it take to actually go and engage somebody to go set
Yep.
one of these things up, right?
Yep.
There has to be a certain amount of, I don't know, spreading. It's like if we're talking to all the same folks in this call, they've already set up their hotspots. That's kind of just like a dead end, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they find another spot later down the road, but ideally we start getting the state where people are thinking about, oh, I have the tools, I have the know-how, I know how to have the conversations. When I go see, a bunch of ubiquity access points on the side of the coffee shop, like I can have that conversation with them.
Right.
Or if folks are worried about their what's it called? The CPI? I can't remember. The uh P-
So, something clearly that neither of us worry about.
anyway, the making sure your cash register is sort of compliant, all PCI compliance. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, uh, but just understanding how hotspots have client device isolation, all that kind of stuff. Because like folks just kind of you don't really know how to talk through those various concerns and whatnot. So there's an opportunity to kind of get everyone in the same room. We had JM from the mobile working group. He came out and gave a talk and sort of
Heck
explained
yeah.
his process for getting into that stuff.
I like
He was
JM.
awesome. He was great. Yeah. I think it's the first time I met him in person, so it was really fun. Um, and then yeah, it just kind of turned into a roundtable of folks sort of talking through stuff. We did a hotspot giveaway. A couple folks bought some hotspots on the spot, and then I will share that there was if you find the recording, I don't remember the code, so I'm going to point you to the recording.
George
There's
is
a
saying the
40%
videos
off.
videos up at Helium Builders?
It should be on the Helium channel. I don't know if
Hmm.
we're still posting on Helium Builders. But yeah, in
Okay.
either case, yeah, you'll get in there.
And some crazy security
Yeah,
questions. Okay.
George was watching. Yeah, there were some folks that were they just wanted to get straight into the details. You know,
Nerd's gonna nerd,
what is
man.
this thing doing? How are people going to hack it? Like, how are they going to emulate the SSID? All that kind of stuff. So it was great to have really clear answers to all that
Yeah.
because we had Mario there. I was there. We were sort of able to talk through. This is how Passpoint works. This is how people actually authenticate. This is
Yeah.
how it's already working on your cell phone. Um, so yeah, I mean, the guy with all the security questions left with a hotspot. So it was,
That's a big
I think
win.
we
And
answered his questions. So
how many people
yeah,
were there?
I'd say it was about 100 or so. It was hard to
Okay.
track.
Thousands.
And then, uh, well, on the live stream, I think it sort of bumped up around 2,000 people. So
No
it was
shit.
good to
That's
see.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So yeah, hopefully some folks got some good information. We showed off a little bit around the new features that are coming to World, some of the new tooling around deploying and all that stuff. So it was a opportunity to drum up a little excitement. And then we are going to ship the QR code based onboarding, sort of internally we call it onboarding V3 in a week, next week,
Okay.
or maybe even later this week. And
So
then all the rest of us are going to be pushing later.
would you say that this is in the can?
Which part? Did you just put a graphic on the screen? I
I
can't
did.
see
Yeah,
it,
yeah. You
but
can't see it. Yeah.
yeah.
uh,
Onboarding V3. I'll go ahead and put it in the can. Yeah, we've dotted our I's on that one.
pretty bold.
Um,
Okay. I like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Feeling confident.
Nice. Let's see what else happened. I kicked myself out of my own Discord for a week because I got in this stupid political conversation with someone else, and I was like, "All right, I'm banning both of us. This is the dumbest goddamn thing." Um,
That's a big boy move. We'll just take you both out.
it's like, we're both clearly breaking the rules. This is a stupid conversation. We're fucking done.
Yeah. Who who uh who got to be the parent while you were out?
I don't know. I haven't checked in. I
No.
told everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys," or I did I think there's four of us, five of us total, who are admins or mods. Me, 619, Vortal, Travis, and Elon Tusk are the
Hmm.
admins and mods on that server. So I felt like all those guys are super capable and they can handle whatever came up, and nothing comes up because it's a quiet
Yeah.
server.
Yeah. And
So
most people are building and respectful, and yeah, it's usually pretty
yeah.
smooth in there.
Oh, it became the Meme King Discord apparently. Great.
Oh, well, 619 is the meme king, so
Yeah.
maybe that's the
Yeah.
yeah, in your absence. It's nice and quiet now that you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Ducky. It's
Yeah.
been nice and quiet for me. I've gotten a ton of shit done, so that's been awesome. I've been heads down on sled stuff, and the motor stuff. The motor stuff is super interesting. I met up with
Hmm.
unrelated. I met up with Mark Pegulu, French dude.
Hmm.
Was at Semtech for I don't know, like 20 years, or maybe not 20 years, 15 years, but was there when Laura started. And when
Hmm.
Nicholas and the rest of the guys, Nicolas and the rest of the guys came in, and Semtech bought it. So and he happens to live in San Diego. So I met up with him for coffee yesterday,
Oh, cool.
and that was kind of cool. Just to like, oh, here's a dude who's been here the whole time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just need to have him local.
Yeah. Did you interview him?
I asked him to come on, but he's no longer working at Semtech. So he's
Yeah.
like, hey, I think he went and worked for another company, and it's been a couple years since he's been there. So I don't think he's super comfortable just saying, like, what do
Yeah.
I got to say? But I'll try and get him on. Yeah, neat guy.
Yeah. I'm sure he was excited to kind of hear what you've been doing with the podcast and kind of spreading the word. I think a lot of folks in the LoRaWAN ecosystem want to see a lot more of that. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's been fun to explore that a little bit more. I've been building this little system to do it automatically for these webinars, but it's ugly. And I was at first was like, oh, I don't want to put this thing out because it's so ugly. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll like let everybody see the whole progression from the first super ugly duckling with the shitty graphics and no, onboard captions to whatever it ends up being.
Yeah. Um, Try stuff out. My little Helium tools thing is currently broken because I did some
Are you
bad
breaking up or
vibing.
is that me?
I'll say. Got.
I
I think
think,
that was me. I thought my video's lagging.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. I'll let you catch up. I'm trying to think what else is going on. I've got
Yeah.
the motor stuff. The 56th C motor mounts are coming down the pipe. The PCB's getting made this week. I added in, I don't think we talked about this, but a torque sensor. So there's a load cell that gets attached to the bench and then it goes up to a little pivot. There's a name for it, but I'm going to call it a pivot arm that gets welded onto welded on the bracket. So as the motor tries to spin, it produces torque and you can measure that with a load cell. And
Oh.
that's apparently, according to GPT, which has steered me into spending lots of money on this thing in a super fun way for me. That's a great way to
Yeah.
measure it. And also knowing torque is super important for these motors. So,
Huh. I didn't put together how you were going to use the load cell. That makes a lot of sense. You just kind of locked on a thing, and whenever that motor goes, it's going to want to. Yeah.
yep, it uses
Huh.
this little thing called a Heim joint,
Very
which I
cool.
have somewhere on my desk. But yeah, there's a little arm that goes down to the load cell and locks into it. And I was going to test that, but as I said, the controller broke. So I bought another controller and yeah, I'm trying to return the old one. And for some reason on eBay, I thought I would do them the kindness of not just opening a return ticket, because apparently that fucks you up as a seller on eBay. And I
Mm,
would just write and be like, hey guys, here's this thing. It showed up broken. What do you guys want to do? And they're like, oh, can you send us pictures? I'm like, I could have just opened a return and been like, or fucking, here are the pictures. Go fuck yourself. And now you've got a shitty rating, but
yeah.
whatevs.
Huh. Um, oh, I looked at the motor stuff that I've got. I think they're all 24 volt. I think I was quoting them at 36 before.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
24 volt hits your target. Let me know. I know you're on 12 for everything. So
Well, for me, it's more important right now that it's a 56C face so that the motor bolts into this bracket. And if it bolts into the bracket,
mm,
then I should be able to take the board and connect the thermistor and the current and the RPM and the rest of it and measure
yeah.
any motor. So that was another kind of cool thing
My
that came up, was using multiple motors to build this AI motor model.
okay. Yeah, mine are probably not. The motors themselves are like the size of a milk jug. They're pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
about
think
how
the
big
one
this
you've
thing
got
is.
it's like a little more like football size. Yeah.
Let's see if I have a picture of it that I can share. God knows I got fucking millions of pictures of these things because I'm been busy building the site. I'll tell you what, do, do, do. Ooh, no, I can't share that. Damn, there's some super cool stuff. I met up with a marketing buddy of mine, who's been building these brand kits. And man, like marketing and branding is mostly going to be AI'd from here on out. The speed with which
Mm,
he can do, like, oh, you need a new brand. Here's the entire kit. Here's the
yep.
colors. Here's your logo. Here's everything on Nano Banana, which is fucking free. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty
I
wild.
all of my team was raving about Anthropic's 4.5 model yesterday,
It's
which
it's
I need to
crazy.
get in there and play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it's just like it's a whole new realm of getting things accurate inside of cursor and whatever else.
Yeah, I've been listening to this. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. To these podcasts by all these like billionaire futurists who are psyched on the various pieces going on. And
Sure.
how do I fucking pull this in? Can I just drop it in there? Yep, I sure can. I don't know what I did, but that's the motor. If you can see the screen, this is the size of the
I
thing.
cannot.
Oh, well, less useful. But you must
Yeah.
have the stream on the side or no?
No, because I figured that nuke my bandwidth, but
Okay, probably will.
yeah,
Let's see.
I might
I
look.
had it up. I can probably send it. Oh, maybe I
Look.
can send it to you in the chat, in our
Uh,
interview
I
chat. Is
see
that
it.
possible?
Oh
Oh,
my
you see
god!
it.
Now I hear you in both places. Yeah. So yours is like a long cylinder. I think the one that I have is probably maybe add 2 inches to that radius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, if you look at your motor plate, I think it will say 56C. It's like a face mount thing, or you can just
Okay.
find the motor model and say, "Hey, is this a 56C face mount motor?" And if it is, then it's usable. And that's one of the things. Did we talk about the motor model thing or no?
No. Well,
I'll
because you showed off the faceplate that you made,
Yep.
but I think the modeling somewhere sitting in between here.
Yeah. So the idea. Let's see if I can bring this thing back up. This will be a little bit of a good God. Pain in the ass to get. Can I get this here? Nah, fuck it. The idea is to take all of this stuff and put it on an ESP32S3 and then run a tiny little model on motors on that thing so I can diagnose motor health. So you end
Okay.
up with this thing that plugs in, but in order to build that, the thing that connects to your motor, in order to um, get to that, you need to have all of the data of what a motor looks like when the bearing's off or it's loose or whatever. And so
Mm.
I've got to run a bunch of motors and simulate that in some ways across these motors. But once I do and gather that data, then I can put it all in there and basically get walked through by Gemini or GPT or whoever the latest, greatest, baddest, most badass model is, and say, hey, build a foundation model. Say, build me this motor model, and then I'll have this motor model that can live on all these different
Hmm.
things. So
Oh,
some
that'd be
super cool
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. A handy little utility.
Yeah. For any motor out there.
Yeah.
And I
Neat.
think that, what did I say? That there's a cool tagline. It's like, it's not make motor smart again, but something like that. Make your dumb motor smart, something like that. Because there's,
Make
I'm
them
sure,
faster. Yeah.
a couple 100,000 of these motors out in the world. And if this allows you to plug your thing in and say like, all right, here's what my motor is doing. Here's the diagnostic and kind of pre-failure health piece. I feel like that's a pretty good market.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw another fun helium update come through.
Ooh, what happened?
Um, the uh, so folks have been following along with the demand sampling work that we're doing. So
Okay.
this is the core idea where when you deploy a hotspot, it immediately starts handling offload traffic, um, but in an unpaid capacity for a couple of the carriers, as in means to understand the demand for that hotspot and that's in that location. Um, so that should possibly ship tomorrow. We're trying to get clearance from one of the M&O partners and make sure that that's all good and squared away on their end, and then we can ship.
Badass.
Exciting.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. 619, I found my Wingbits thing. So here's what it says. I've got 1,300 pending tokens and 53,000 claimable tokens. I didn't take a screenshot of how many Wingbits or whatever I've earned, but it's in the 200,000s. And so there's some weird thing where like the monkey bucks you earned doing it are not equivalent to the monkey bucks you're buying out. And I think this 53,000 was you could sell it. Yeah, early reward redemption pre-TG. Those are worth, I think they're 0.005 cents each, something like that. It was
Hmm.
a minuscule amount. So wasn't the greatest email I've
Yeah.
ever gotten, but I also think like, hey, give all these guys some grace. They're doing something that people haven't done before, and got to let them do their thing.
Yeah. Gotta imagine most people are holding on to them. It makes sense. It's actually, I guess it's a good sign that an organization wants to buy their tokens from people.
Yeah,
Um, but maybe they set the price a little low and it sort of bummed folks out.
yeah. I mean, I think it was, now that I think about it and look at it, it was much more for me that it wasn't explained well. And when I went through and
Hmm.
was like, okay, how much is it worth? Let me click this early reward redemption thing, which you can't see is off screen. Oh, I get 111,000. Okay, so I completely misspoke. So I do, and it's fucking confusing. Okay, so I've earned 233,000 tokens, but I have 53,000 claimable Wingbits, and so I could redeem
Hmm.
111,000 beta rewards. but it doesn't say how much that's worth. Yeah.
That is, I don't understand why there's two things. Doesn't make sense.
I also don't know. Yeah, yeah. Claimable.
Yeah.
And I think just looking at it, and it's actually not sarcastic to say my vast experience with deep ends, because I fucking have dealt with most of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just confusing, which is classic deep end stuff, is they're doing this super complex thing, and then they forget to explain like one part of it that's complex, but that's really important to explain to people who don't pay attention to the rest of the, you know, complexity in the project. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Maybe they'll get it sorted. Maybe this is the feedback they needed. And they'll
Yeah. Oh, Ducky's
figure it
talking
out
about
for
its
us.
points and coins. Points to coins is always a bit meh. Although Duck's not
Yeah.
English, so maybe I can do. What's an Amsterdam accent? This fucking Dutchies. I don't know. Sounds like they need a UX
Uh,
designer. Yeah. I was hearing a
yeah.
thing yesterday. I wrote it down. Is that this is a podcast about investing? Is one of the next great frontiers is going to be a brand new UI UX design, like across the web. And so this was something I've been thinking about for this motor mount website, is how do I build it so that the website itself is an AI agent? And I don't think that I have the ability right now, although I might just wait for a month and it will probably change, to kind of create
Hmm.
this website as an agent so that it displays to the user and interacts with the user in a totally customizable way per user. So in the same way that you go to
Hmm.
Chat GPT and you've got all your chats there and it talks to you and blah, 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 and you can go back and talk about other things you've talked about before, this
Right.
would modify itself to you as you go through.
That's a pretty interesting concept. So, I mean, I spent a lot of my time in my career as a designer, so you kind of nerd sniped me with this one. But it's always evolving, right? Like you see navigation bars change and sort of paradigms change, and those paradigms are really important to stick to because they create familiarity across platforms. So, like
Yep.
if your home button is in the top left, but then you go and decide, you know what, I think it'd be cool if it's in the bottom right. Nobody will figure your website out, right?
Yep.
Even if you put arrows down, you're like, it's just going to be ass. Um, the interesting angle there is like we've had these various phases in web development. You've like the model view controller, all those kind of like systems for organizing. It'd be kind of intriguing to say like the core element of my website is actually just a markdown file that describes the functionality of this
Mm-hmm.
thing, what the routing methods are or whatever. And then the website could just self-generate. Every month you could say like redesign this website in the sort of best practices of UI design or whatever.
Yep.
Um,
And I think,
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's obvious to you, but just to say, so there'd be like, hey, this is what this website does. And then here's the branding. And you basically only need those two pieces. And then
Hmm.
it can generate the website for folks. But so there's some stuff where you're just kind of plugging in a chat bot that knows everything about your site that I tried to do unsuccessfully with MeteoScientific and this thing called Diane, where people have problems with MeteoScientific's console just because LoRaWAN's complex and it's slightly different because it's the implementation for Helium of a LoRaWAN and a public server versus a private one. And so you can't do MQTT. And people would always be like, oh, why can't I do MQTT? And each fucking person, instead of going up to the top right and reading the docs, would just bitch to me about why I was so stupid for not allowing MQTT. I was like, oh,
Mm.
for fuck's sake, it would be super nice to have a bot that wasn't just like an automated stupid response, but that said like, hey, here's your use case. I totally understand it. Here's how to work around it. You can just go straight to InfluxDB or use an HTTP integration or whatever. But for this idea of like the agent at the core, it wouldn't be a bot. It would be much more a piece that as the person started coming in and clicking, let's say it's for this motor, and I'm totally spitballing here, but they come in like if they want to buy a mount, they might want to see and figure out all the pieces for their mount. And so the website would configure itself for their specific piece. Like, oh, you've got a mount here and you want to be able to
Mm.
move it. Cool. Check out the handle or whatever. Versus, oh, this is a 24-volt motor. So now you want a different sensing kit. So we're going to show you the sensing kit stuff. And then you can
Mm.
just tell it what you want and it pulls in the pieces that are most useful.
Yeah. I think an important angle on the UX side is that there has to be a certain amount of predictability.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the trade-off between sort of AI generating something.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to point to is when the Apple laptops had that touch bar on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the most unusable thing. I know there's people out there that are like, oh, I loved it. I use it for whatever, changing my volume.
I never
But
use it.
because that content of every single button in there changed based on whatever thing you were interacting with, there was almost no predictability in terms of like I can just like, finger move my way to like doing the thing. There's also no tactile feedback, which was also a really big challenge there. But um, anyway, it's important to have consistency, which is why keyboards are fantastic. You can do all sorts of stuff without having to think too hard, or like,
Yeah.
the cognitive overhead of,
Yeah.
hitting enter. So
I thought
anyway,
the
I
other
love
thing,
the concept. I think there's a lot in there.
the other thing I was trying to do with it was to say, not only is this an agent for users, but how do I build an AI partner for the business itself? So one of those things where it's like, okay, and I was able to do this a little bit with the model file on Monstra locally and say, hey, here's who you are. Here's your job. Your job is to help Nick. You're an AI partner for da 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 da. And the chat was
Mhm.
convincing, but it was full of shit. It's like, oh, you talk to him, be like, oh, great, I just generated these Python files. It's like, no, you didn't. And so, like, we're so fucking close to that place where I think, and I feel pretty confident this will happen in the next 6 months. You will be able to do that, and you'll have your own little mini AI business development guidance, et cetera, comptroller, maybe a bunch of different agents. And that will probably be brought in as, hey, do you want like a business AI suite? And something like Intelligent Internet will probably offer that, where you say yes, and it's like, all right, well, here's your comptroller, here's your marketing AI, here's your whatever fucking accountant AI, XYZ. Here's like the 9 different AIs that every business absolutely needs, and then you talk to them
Right.
in the same way that Toby at Shopify 2 years ago was like, hey, I built this thing for myself because I'm a super nerd with a lot of money.
Mm.
That will be available to everyone.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I need to spend some time this afternoon to start playing around with even some of the new tools just from this week. It sounds like there's a
It's
little
crazy.
bit of a
Every
game changer
fucking
there.
week, there's some new thing that's like, oh, this is no big deal, but the world changed again.
Yeah.
So
Um, it gets easier and easier, faster and faster. I'll go fix the bugs on my little website and
I
get the
saw that
thing out there. So,
Anthropic acquired Bun.
oh,
That seemed
that
like a
that
pretty big deal.
surprised me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bun is a package manager. So you start talking like dev tool chain stuff, right? And I think it's a really interesting angle that we saw all of these LLMs start attaching themselves to IDEs. So you've got Google shipped anti-gravity, there's cursors, codecs, all that stuff.
Yep.
Um, this is kind of the next frontier. So I'll be curious to see if like NPM and some of these other things start to become uh, AI-ified. NPM, I think, has already been acquired. Forget by who, but
Yeah. And I just use it
yeah,
because I
there's a
read
bunch
one
of them out
time that
there.
Bun was faster than NPM. I'm like, I'm going to use Bun for everything. Like, I don't know what the fuck these things do.
Yeah, most things are faster than NPM these days, but yeah. Um, yeah, our the World Explorer uses PNPM, and so I was working on it yesterday, and didn't I was just like, wow, it does si- it does concurrent downloads of your packages. Like, what a mind bending idea.
That's crazy. They're going to use a
Yeah.
server component. Oh, so Ducky says, because you can't see the screen, I think they're going to use the server component to run Bun code everywhere. Yeah. Badass. Like nerd stuff. I think the other
Interesting. Yeah.
thing I saw was that I think is interesting and certainly relevant to me. So the first one was AI will change things because the UI UX will change, is number one. And there will be a new thing. They didn't say what it was. They just said, like, this hasn't happened yet, but this is what's coming down the pipe. Is the way you interface, the way you use the internet will change totally. And then two, we'll have new sources of data. And I think that seemed to me to be when I thought about it, like, oh, of course, but just nobody has figured out how to pull all of those new sources of data because the talk is that they've already scraped the entire internet, so all the text is gone. And I've always thought that that's where LoRaWAN is most powerful as like this nervous system for AI because there's so many packets of data flying through the air on LoRaWANs around the world that AI would love to have like, oh, what's the temperature? What's the whatever it is.
Hmm.
And for my little motor project, it's like, okay, I'm going to have, let's say I'm super successful and I have a couple 100,000 motors and they're now attached to the internet. That's this brand new source of data that no one else has. Probably be pretty valuable. So,
Hmm. I guess the guys at Streamer kind of were working in that space. I don't know if that's still a focus for them, but it was that idea that you could just like create a data set and feed it out to folks and they
yep.
could take actions on it.
I remember that my buddy Nick Huff was always telling me, he's like, dude, you got to get on Streamer. You got to get nodes. They're crushing. And I was always like,
Hmm.
dude, I got a million things going on already. I don't need another DBit project.
Well, it was on ETH, and that was a whole that was a hurdle for me. I ran a node on their thing for a while, and there's just so many foot guns in crypto. At least at the time, it was still
So
the
many what?
case. I
What
think
are they called?
foot guns, as Noah likes to refer. Like you're going to shoot yourself in the foot,
Ah,
like
okay. Yeah.
foot gun.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, yep.
Kevin,
Um,
you got your new slide, foot gun
yeah.
time.
Foot gun. Yeah. Let's see one. Uh, I can't steal that one from Noah. That's his thing. But no, like I tried to set up the streamer node, and you basically lock up some tokens, and your little validator node, whatever, you earn some stuff. But I bought their old token on Ethereum, right? But they had been I think they were on Polygon at the time. I can't remember now. But you bought the wrong token, and now the gas fee is too high. So you basically have to just like throw that all away and then go buy more of it somewhere else. It was just it's a it's a minefield in the ETH L2 world. It's not
Yeah,
fun.
I'm holding on to my ETH though. I mean, I didn't have a shit ton, but I had a couple. I'm like, I think, my core hypothesis is that that system is filled with smart people. They're going to fuck a lot of things up, but eventually they'll come out okay. And that and Bitcoin will be the two big ones, and Solana will probably be the third. But that's much less certain, and clearly not financial advice.
I mean, all of crypto is there's probably a lot of smart people, and they're also probably going to fuck a lot of things up. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
in a nutshell. Uh,
I don't know. There's some projects where I'm like, man, how did that person get put in charge? That person's a fucking idiot, and they just went in there for this scam. Oh, dude, I heard
don't
this
even get
other
me started. Yeah.
great thing was that I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about the first non-human billionaire will probably be a, what do they call it? A baby AGI, artificial general intelligence, that runs a pump and dump scheme on X. And I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
probably what it's
Yeah.
going to be. And here I was the whole time. I could have fucking figured it out and run some pump and dump scheme and made $1 billion, but nope. I was too dumb sitting here
Yeah.
like building my motor
Well,
sense kit.
task Monstra, get it working for you, and then
Yeah,
don't let it forget who its creator was.
I'm
pay
yeah.
pay the big guy out.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I had this long conversation with Gemini saying like, "Hey, how do I create an AI partner?" And it's like, "Hey, that sounds super cool, but there's nothing yet where you can do it." And I don't think Monster is big enough to run like a useful AI partner, but that may also change. I think the latest that came out was at Anthropic or something else that's running at like 90% of former performance with 20% of the tokens used. So
Hmm. Getting easier. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, they're
I
just
like
getting much more
George's thing. It's
efficient.
like crypto is very much the Wild West. He said web in '97. Like
Yeah,
it's definitely those vibes right now.
yeah.
And especially with this administration, it feels like entirely Wild West. People are just trying everything.
Like, hey, get after it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ducky, AI is definitely a revolution like the internet, but is it
Argument.
also a bubble? Yeah, big conversation right now. I'm not sure that I have any useful useful insight of that. And then 619 is desirous of me breaking the law. I just need to post up fake QR code signs around my place telling people to send me money for parking.
Yeah.
So that's not a terrible idea for our parking lot in the back because people always park in the wrong place, and I could just put up a QR sign that's like, "Yep, pay $5 an hour for parking." I'll tell all the business
Mm.
tenants like, "Don't do this; it's a scam." But then everyone else can just pay me my fucking
Well,
monkey bucks.
I I was thinking about this. Like, I want to set up a chicken coop at my place, and I think it'd be fun to like share eggs with neighbors and all that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily want them to pay me for it, but I think it would be good for them to pay for them, just to kind of not take it for granted. And so I was like, could you put up a QR code that just like is a donation thing? Like you donate a couple bucks every time you take some eggs, and then you could do like a dashboard to show kind of like these chickens raised, 50 bucks for
$600.
the
Yeah,
Wikimedia Foundation, like
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, anyway, that's kind of
I
that's another way to take the parking spot, right? Yeah.
you could do it, but just do it for the Helium Foundation. Like these chickens laid eggs and raised $600 for the
that
Helium Foundation.
that may raise scrutiny.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
no,
little bit directed back towards me.
yeah, yeah. That's uh that's the war cry right now. Is what's going on with Helium Foundation. What is it? Money Germ comes on every week. It's like, what's going on? It's like, ah, we'll get to it.
Oh yeah, I got to see Jerem last night. It was great to see him. He came out for the event.
He's so
So
awesome. I fucking
yeah,
love that guy.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He threw some good questions in there. Some real technical fun stuff.
Shocking.
RT popped up. RT popped up at one point, and she's like, "This is an open QA conversation. Like, please throw in questions." Right as I got up on stage, I was like, "Oh, Jeremy is totally gonna just like heckle me from the audience now." Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was good. Um, but yeah. No, I don't know what that. I think it's market rates of tokens emitted has made the whole conversation confusing. So I'm still trying to chase that down and make sure we get a lockdown number, and we'll get that shared on the IoT working group.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my concern with that one um, is much more that for a new person, that looks super scammy. For me, I'm just like, dude, the foundation has, I don't know how many employees, let's say it's 3 or 5 or something, and they're just busy and they're doing a million things. And this is like not critically important to them. So they're like, yeah, we'll get to it. But from an outsider
yeah,
coming in, like it should be a pretty simple answer that any CFO or what's Sam's title? Head of capital should be able to answer is like, how much
something
capital
like
do you
that.
have?
Yeah,
Head of capital. And with him kind of unable to answer it, it's just like, whoa, what the fuck's going on there? And crypto already has the scam piece. So I would love to see that definitively answered so we can just move on to useful
yeah.
shit.
It There's a definitive answer on how much is left. I and there's a ballpark answer. I think it was like 320K on what was spent. Um, but yeah, I want to get that locked down. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel right.
No, no. Let's see what else. I feel like there's other rad stuff happening on the motor side, but it might all be the branding piece of this new website that I have that I can't really talk about. But that's just been super fun to sit there on the bench and be like, all right, this is how all these pieces are going to come together. Oh, my buddy Dirk came by. Dirk and I worked on the Helium Bridge together, which was a grant from the
Mhm.
foundation, where you have, and you can still do it to this day. You can go buy this little device and then hook any sensor onto Helium. And he came by, and I was trying to use my multimeter to test the motor controller. And he's an actual, I believe he's an electrical engineer. And he was just like, dude, get out of the way. Like, here's how this thing works. And then in like 2 minutes,
Yeah,
he's like, all
you're
right, you do
trying to
this,
measure.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're trying to measure pulses with a multimeter.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, what's the air pressure of this thing? And he's like, dude, just fucking step aside. What's the
good.
tire
You
pressure
learned
on
some
this
stuff.
motor? Yeah, it's super cool to see
Yeah,
a pro come in and say like, this is how this thing works. And he's like, well, it's been about 20 years since I worked with motors, but they're always fascinating. But he still was 20 years ahead of me.
sure. Yeah.
So yeah, super
Ductator
fun.
is asking where the multi-gateway thing is. That is also in progress. So, well,
What's the deal
I'm
with
so
that?
excited to get that out there. But,
Is that like a super difficult thing, or is it just down on the priority list? Or
the guy that's building it has like a full-time job. So it's he's been busy. They've had a product. He basically got thrown into a big project right off the bat. I think they are close to shipping it. It's kind of been a little bit of up and down. It's going to be an open source thing, which is cool to see. It's going to be a whole Rust thing.
Yeah.
Um, uh, anyway, he's got I think a loose prototype of the thing. It's just a matter of sort of buttoning things up, and he'll get it out there.
Getting it
But
out
it's
there.
a nights and weekends thing. He's got a kid, so it's
Yeah.
all the family stuff is in there too.
Question for you on open source, because this just, we're here, so I might as well ask you. Is for this motor sense kit, I'm thinking that the whole thing should be open source, but if it is, then that doesn't leave me a business angle. But I see a lot of people doing
Uh,
open source. Like help me understand like why I should do it open source, which is what I want to do, but I also don't want to do all of this work for
w-
free.
well, so the simplest thing there is you can go down the open source hardware route, and the licensing there is really nice, where it says like if you build off of this, you need to go attribute Nick, right? So you're always going to have some understanding of what your device is doing in the field.
Hmm.
Um, that said, like if Seed Studio is like, oh yeah, we're going to produce these and it's going to be the thing built by Nick, you're probably not going to see a lot of funding from that. Maybe Seed Studio throw you some bucks or whatever. But
Right.
you'll see plenty of examples out there of this little open source hardware logo on a thing being sold in a marketplace. On the smaller scale of things, I think we've seen these like YouTubers and stuff, and uh, there's a guy that does the motors. Anyway, a bunch of open source hardware stuff. Sure, you could go download it. You could have your own PCBs made. You could get a run made, but the quantities of scale are going to come from you because you can order 50, 100 of them at a time and then go sell them out for $5. But
And
if
that's
I
the
wanted
angle.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, I would also have to pay like $50 for the spin up of a PCB assembly or whatever. Um,
Okay. All right. So I've
so
done that
yeah.
before. Like someone else had an open source design. You had to buy at least 5 of them. So I bought, it was 5 of like a USB cable tester. And I think I bought
Hmm.
10 just to get it. So it ended up costing me the full 10 to get one. And I just gave them away. I don't know if I sent one to you. I sent one to Germ, I think, but I sent them to all my buddies. Okay. So that's
Yeah.
like, that's the barrier. But for, let's say Seed comes in and they're like, oh, wow, that's cool. And it's got LoRaWAN on it and it's open source. They could legitimately say like, oh, we're going to whatever, print 50,000 of them or whatever, 1,000 or 100 or 10. And that would more or less cut me out other than to say, Nick designed this thing. So there's a
Yeah, I
hazard
think
there from
so.
getting it right.
I've never experienced it directly.
Yeah.
That's generally my understanding, and maybe see it. I have seen to be a good operator in the builder space, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think if they took your thing, they'd probably ask nicely and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Then we just did the thing with
yeah,
Violet this morning. So I'm sure they'd be pretty cool with it. But I just think like, all right, not Seed is not the only manufacturer out there. The thing I'm thinking
right, yeah,
disabuse me of this if this is incorrect is that if I build the hardware, the firmware, and the software, those 3 things, and I've got the marketing for it, that seems like enough semi-modishness to keep going. And it's a small enough market that I don't think people will look at that and be like, I mean, I think maybe who knows what it'll make. Not a ton,
well,
less than
I
a couple
mean,
million bucks.
there's the angle too of like you give your best thing away for free, right? Like get that first thing out in the market,
Hmm.
whatever kind of groundswell you can get, like great.
Yeah.
If somebody goes and prints 10,000 of these things, that's more 10,000 more people that know about what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. That's an interesting
and
angle. Yeah.
and then V2 can be closed source or whatever, right?
Fucking lock
Or
it
you do
down.
premium support, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
well, like look at Oren with ChirpStack, right? He built the the LNS in the ecosystem, right?
Yep.
There is nothing that touches it, and it's free, but he offers priority support, and he gets paid for that priority support. That's his full time job.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. And he seems to like it. And I mean, MetSci sends him $5 a month. So he gets a little from us
yeah,
just for being cool on GitHub. It's okay.
yeah.
Ah, cool. That's an
Yeah.
interesting. That's a
Anyway, there's
probably a
angles.
smart angle on it. So,
Yeah,
eh,
I don't know. I like you probably you don't have to bank your livelihood on selling motors, which is nice. And don't go, sink yourself $10,000 into it and be stuck there, but might be
Me?
close already.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think we're
uh,
or about 4 for sure. But
yeah, but like, it's something that's fun to try, and if it takes
yeah,
off, awesome. If it doesn't, like, also awesome.
go
Learn
do
some
something
stuff and had
else.
some fun along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah,
That helps flesh it out. All right.
yeah.
Badass. Well,
I
fucking hey, Joey.
I mean, I don't approach things as a business until I have to approach them as a business. I guess I do almost everything I can for free or for a buddy or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And once things start to become really serious, then it's like I'll either quit it because I don't want to do that anymore, or you have to, like, buckle down and figure out what the next steps are.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think of it as like I should probably do it in the opposite way, where like keep it clean from the beginning. Because the one thing I've seen is as soon as you fuck around with your buddies and you do some fun stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like whether it's $10 or $5,000 on the line, there's always someone that gets fucking weird about money.
Oh yeah, and I do
Usually
everything
me.
by myself.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
hey, daddy's got to pay the fucking mortgage. Let's make sure this thing's clean. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Property taxes are no joke either. But
Holy shit, yeah.
um,
And these assholes want to fucking jack them
yeah,
up more so that they can go
oof,
waste my
yeah,
fucking money. The only program in California that I think is worth taxpayer money, this is me just being an asshole, is this free education that I'm getting on these sewing classes. Like that seems like a super good use of taxpayer dollars because then you can go learn a new trade and trades seem
yeah.
important. But goddamn, they
I
don't
mean,
fix the roads. They don't fucking take care of electricity. They don't pay for
I'm a
eggs.
big I'm a huge believer in education. I mentioned Wikipedia. Like,
Hmm.
you can donate to them. I
Yeah,
would encourage people listening to think about it.
yeah.
Um,
I've
they
donated
they
to
make
them
huge impacts.
as well, but I've seen now there's this big argument about whether or not they're biased and what they let through. And I thought, God dang, if I could be certain that they were just totally neutral, I would continue to donate to them. But I'm not certain of that. I'm like, there's some beliefs that they appear to have that are not consistent with mine. But I don't think they're
It's
relying
going
on
to
my
vary
fucking
on the
$10 a
topic.
year. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's no
Like,
no no
if you
perfection
follow the
exists.
current trends and the politics, like, you're going to find, no matter what way you try and slice and dice the thing, there's
Yep.
going to be some angle, right?
Yeah.
But if you get away from that and you look at the educational side of stuff, math, science, like chemistry, like all this,
It's
it's
rad.
like you cannot beat that content, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe
and that
Grokpedia can.
well, but it's going to learn it from Wikipedia. So,
Yeah.
like, I'll keep feeding the source as long as I can,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
because it's important. But anyway, cool.
Fucking A.
We should wrap.
Yeah.
Good to chat, and keep on keep on the motor stuff going.
Shit, yeah. Oh, Travis's wife, I'm pretty sure it's wife, not girlfriend, was on the page for Feral for years. Hell yeah, Travis. Of course V was.
That that raises a lot of questions. Uh,
Now with Travis, like you know exactly where you stand. It's just gonna be fucking weird. That's the deal.
that's quite the badge. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one. Nice work. Pass on my high fives to V. Teague.
yeah, yeah.
All right, killers. Thanks, Joey. Good to chat with you. I will see you probably next week.
Sounds good. Take
All
it
right,
easy.
we're out.